AGW gold sensing cable to steel cable splice. The following procedure should be used after the completion of the secondary containment pipe and pulling in the AGW gold sensing cable. The first thing you want to do is take your 1/8 inch steel cable and separate the cable into 3 and 4 strands, approximately 15 inches down. Once you get this complete, you want to prepare your sensing cable. You want to remove this outer sheath. This outer sheet is a protectant to the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this back down about 8 inches, which is, it's going to puff the cable. So I'm able to cut it off without damaging the ground. Once I remove it, it exposes the ground shield. At this point, I'm going to grab the inner conductor and push the ground down and actually kind of puff it up around the cable. At this point, I'm going to come down to the end and just nip the ground off the cable. Care should be taken as not to damage the inner conductor during taking off this ground shield. The next thing you're going to do is remove the plastic helical spacer. So you're just going to take this spacer off and run it down to where you just cut that ground shield off. And you're going to cut it at the base. At this point, there's a blue dielectric over the inner conductor, and you're going to strip that blue dielectric material off all the way down to the base. Okay, once that's removed, you're going to take your steel cable and you're going to place your inner conductor in the throat of the steel cable. So I usually have it in there and I have like an extra 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to intertwine my steel cable about 1 inch. Then go up and around the cable So basically what you're doing is stitching that inner conductor into your steel cable 1 inch at a time. Okay, so once that's complete, you're going to take your leading edge and you're going to bend the wire the opposite way. You're going to get your electrical tape starting 6 inches above where your splice is, and you're going to go down the cable where you have bent the inner conductor over. You're going to do several wraps with your electrical tape. Now, the idea of this is to have the very smallest splice you could possibly have going into that 3/4 inch guide tube in the interstitial space of the secondary containment. Once you get to this point, you want to do a double wrap and continue up the cable, past the steel cable, approximately 6 inches. And that's to prevent this outer sheath from bunching up in the secondary during the pulling process. Once that's complete, that is your splice going into the secondary containment. Now, during the pulling process, you want 2 individuals, one man pulling the steel cable, and the other man pulling the AGW gold or any type of sensor cable into the secondary containment.